We need an electric guitar, we need an amplifier, and we need to... What are we doing? Are we rocking out, or you're playing pop music, or what are we doing?
We want to do everything.
We want to do everything. That makes it even more difficult now. So what's our budget again?
It's 20,000 rupees for guitar and amp.
Oh man.
Okay, so today we're going to do something that we don't usually do. We've got a challenge and we're in the experience center. Under 20,000 rupees, we need to find an electric guitar rig. That means an electric guitar with an amp. So I've got Varun with me and we're going to check out some guitars and take you along.
In fact, why don't we pick this one? That's the Sqoe.
That will overshoot both of our budgets combined.
What do you think? That'll shoot. Okay.
So the Sest 230. Nice red color.
Yeah, that's a good color and a good pickguard. Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Stevie Ray Vaughan, good old Stevie. This is actually a great guitar.
And what does this cost?
It's around 14,000 rupees. This is our good old Sest 600.
Single humbucker with a coil split. Yeah, this will get some good versatile sounds, man.
So
we can check for something like that.
So let's go to the Super Shredder series. This is our Seib 370. I love this color, man. Crowd favorite at this point. This is the ST20 V2. Again, around 10,000 rupees. So it'll balance out our budget.
Yeah, that's a good.
Alright, so we're now in the studio. We've just picked out our rigs. The challenge is to pick out an electric guitar home rig for under 20,000 rupees. And that was an incredible challenge because we had so many options of guitars and amps, but we had budget constraints, we had sound constraints. So we've tried our best to make everything work. We had to let go of some really good models. Could you quickly explain to us how are we recording this?
Yeah, so we've got the amp mic'd up with a dynamic mic going straight into our interface and straight into our laptop. So it's a very honest and very, it's a brutally honest sounding setup. We've got no effects, no special, any, outboard gear or anything like that. It's the amp, it's the mic into the interface.
Awesome. So right now, first up, we have the DA102 by Just Pro paired with the SEST250 by Sqoe. This amp costs about 8,000 rupees and the Sqoe costs about 10,000 rupees, and this fits within our budget. We'll talk a little more about this at the end, but for now we're going to change guitars from Strat to now Super Strat. This is the Seib 370 by Sqoe, again paired with the DA102 by Just Pro. Alright, so next up we have the Lirevo, the Token 15, and this is about 11,500 rupees. And we're going to pair that with our Sest 230 by Sqoe, which is around 10,000 rupees. And let's hear what that sounds like. So next up, we're going to pair the Joyo Jambuddy, which is about 11,500 rupees, along with our ST20 V2, which is super popular. And this is around the 10,000 rupee mark. What's interesting about this is it's a processor, but it has an inbuilt speaker, so it functions as an amp as well. It's got a whole bunch of amp models on board with effects. And it also has a looping feature, which is good for jamming. And you have 3 presets that you can set in-house. Alright, so now we're going to slightly get experimental, where we've taken a guitar that's actually 15,000, which leaves us only about 5,000 rupees for the amp. And we have this DA10B by Donna. This is a pocket size amp, which is battery powered and it's USB-C charged. And it's got a clean channel and an overdrive, very basic functions, gain, tone and volume. So let's hear what that sounds like. Alright, so next up we have the Scuru S4 by Caline. This is again a smaller amp with a metal chassis, 2 channels, clean and overdrive. And we've paired that with the ST650, which is about 15,000 rupees. So we're again going with a slightly higher end guitar and leaving very little budget for the amp. So here's what it sounds like. Alright, next up we've again gone a little experimental in the other direction where we've gotten an amp that's slightly expensive, around 12,000 rupees. This is the Scuru S8 by Caline, and we've paired that with the ST20 V2 by Strydom, which is around 10,000 rupees. And we're going to hear what that sounds like. Alright, so we're done with all our sound tests now. Let's go over them a little bit. So first off, we have the DA102 paired with the SEST230.
Okay, I think so. We had the amp costing about 8,000.
Yeah.
And the guitar costing about
10,000.
About 10,000. So that was really within our price range. And this had a great sound because the bigger amp, it's got about an 8-inch speaker or a 6-inch speaker.
Yep.
And it's got, the best part is it's got 2 overdrive channels and a whole bunch of effects.
Yes.
With reverb, delay and everything. So just the amp itself is a great deal because any guitar you plug into it is going to make you cover a lot of ground.
Absolutely.
According to me. So that was a great combo. We got some good tones out of it.
This one also comes with an inbuilt drum machine, easy for practice, and it's got a Bluetooth option. So if you want to play through backing tracks and things like that, so just additional features to make your life easy. So what we did next is we paired the same amp with a Super Strat, which is the Seib 370 by Sqoe, which you're probably familiar with. HSH style configuration, 24 frets.
So we just basically changed the guitar.
We changed the guitar.
Stayed the same.
Yep.
And just a more, like a more hard rock, more 80s sort of a setup with that guitar. And it's got a humbucker, single and humbucker. So you had all the more modern sort of tones coming out, which this amp brings out because it's got the classic overdrive and the heavy overdrive.
Yeah.
So you get to cover a lot of ground that way.
Yeah. So the Seib 370 is priced at about 11,000 rupees.
Yeah.
So it's still within our budget, and we got some great sound out of it. So with this amp, we paired one Strat and one Super Strat. The difference being a Super Strat has an HSH configuration. It's more of a hard rock, heavier sounds. It's 24 frets. We've already done a video on this actually, where we talked about how a Super Strat is like a hot rodded Strat. So you can check that out for more information. Next, we have the Lirevo Token 15. And that was paired with the SEST250 by Sqoe. Again, it was an interesting combination because now we've gone slightly higher budget amp. It's about 11,500. This actually comes with Celestian speakers, which is the sound of the legendary sound that you get out of guitar amps. And it was a pretty interesting setup. This is an open back amp, so you're going to get a lot more projection from behind. A more traditional style amp in terms of the sound, the construction. You had 2 channels, which is clean and overdrive, and you have 2 overdrive sounds as well. And you've got some effects happening. Classic looking amp, bigger speaker.
I love the amp already. So it's a big sound. It's like a great sounding clean channel with reverb. This is what you will use when you jam with your drummer, when you play with your own band, and you want a good, loud sort of a sound going. And along with, especially with this sort of a guitar, which really fit into our budget.
Yeah.
So within 20K, if that's the limit, the amp costs about 11.
Yeah, about 11,000.
About 11,000, and this guitar would go about how much?
About 10,000.
About 10,000. So that's 21,000.
Yeah, right? And
so we went $1,000 over the budget, but with the discount, I think
we do offer discount. So yes, it will.
This guitar is just solid. So you've got the single humbucker, and along with the whammy. The only thing that I missed on this was the coil split, which we have in the higher up models.
Yeah.
But it's cool, man. Like a humbucker to rock out along with this amp. That's just, if you have to get one setup that just rips in that one setting, this is the setup that I would
This is the way to go, absolutely. So next up, we've gone with an interesting combination. We've gone with a slightly higher budget amp. This doesn't look like an amp. It's actually the Joyo Jambuddy, which is a processor which has an amp on board. So it's got these 2 small speakers. It's actually got a speaker in the back, so it projects the low end from here. So if you're playing in a room, you actually get a fuller sound out of it. even though the speakers are small. The interesting thing about this is it's got a modeling section which models different amps and different combinations with overdrive pedals. In addition to that, you have a 3-band EQ, you've got a drum machine and a looper, and you can save these presets, which just makes it convenient for you when you're practicing at home. And it's got an output that can go into an amp or in a front of house, or if you're recording at home. This has a whole host of features like an OTG function that lets you record directly into your softwares. It's got a line out and it's got a headphone out for silent practices. So this is like a very feature-packed unit. It's got processing, it's got amplification, and we've paired that with the ST20 V2 that most of you all are familiar with by now, by Strydom. This actually costs about 11,500 and this is around the 10,000 rupee range.
I think this is the most feature-packed amp, and it's a quieter amp. Like this and the Lirevo are two absolutely different things. That is meant to be played with like a drummer, with the whole band. That's your live thing. This is more of the when you want to do a quiet jam by yourself and just practice, because it's got the Bluetooth, it's got an onboard processor, effects, looper, drum machine. So if you're like a one-man setup who just wants to practice and play guitar and have fun by yourself, this is the best pick.
Absolutely.
For that.
Yeah, I'm
the most feature packed, most bang for buck is this one.
In fact, an interesting thing is a lot of customers come to our store. So many of them who have bought in this exact combo because it just fits right. They came here with the intention of buying something else, but as soon as they found this, it just worked for them. We live in Mumbai, we have smaller apartments, noise constraints, and this seems to work really well. So now what we had done is we've gone a little above budget in terms of the guitar. What we started off with was like a 50-50 split on our budget. 50% for the guitar, 50% for the amp. But now we're going with a slightly higher end guitar, and we're going with the cheapest amplifier that we can get. So we have the Sest 600, which costs about 16,000 rupees. And we have the DA10B by Donner, which is a tabletop amp, as I would describe it. It's a chargeable amp. You can charge it using a phone charger. The interesting thing about these amps are they're very simple to operate. They've got just a clean and overdrive channel, volume, tone, gain, and it has a Bluetooth function. So if you want to use it for backing tracks, so it has some features.
It works because the playability of the guitar is amazing. It sounds good, but the only problem with this combination is you are just stuck to this. This is your first amp. Usually people would have this sort of an amp as their secondary amp.
Yes.
Where they have like a bigger amp and they want something compact. It sounds fine, it sounds great, but it's a tiny sound. So you've got the clean and the overdrive with the Bluetooth and with the headphones. So if you're sitting at the in the middle of the night and you just want to practice by yourself or jam, this is your best friend. It runs on battery power, right? So it's got a running life on it. So you can just use your phone charger to charge it and keep it with you. You can take it to your vacation or to your cafe where you hang out and just use this amp by itself and play. So it has a very unique use case, and there will be for sure a lot of guitar players who would want to buy this.
Yeah, so the cool thing about this amp is we got an expensive guitar, which means you can take that guitar to a gig and plug it into a 100-watt amp and get a great sound because the guitar is good. This is not going to be your live sound. The idea is at home you have noise restrictions, and this is just convenient to carry around. This can actually fit in your gig bag. So supposing you're traveling for a gig and you're sitting in a car for like 3 or 4 hours, you can just plug your guitar into this. You're at an airport, you're waiting for your flight, plug this in. So this is just something that's portable, a portable solution for electric guitars. Similar to our previous combination, again we've gone with a slightly more expensive guitar with an inexpensive amp. This is the Scuru S4 by Caline. This is again a 5,000 rupee amp, and the guitar is about 16,000 rupees. Again, we've experimented with this combination of taking an amp that is small, but at the same time it's portable. This is also battery powered C-type charger. It's got an on and off. It's got an aux in, so if you want to play some backing tracks or anything. This also has a Bluetooth function, and this has 2 channels, your clean channel and overdrive, and it's got very minimal controls. You have your master volume, your gain, your tone, and you can control each channel's output independently. A speaker that's really tiny out front, but it does have a speaker at the back to project that low end. This has got a metal chassis, and that does affect the sound a little bit. It's again something I would categorize as a tabletop amp.
Yeah, it's a good looking amp. That's the first thing. And again, battery powered. It's a great setup for, it's a great secondary amp that you have after your big amp. And similar to the last Donner that we spoke about, that it's your portable amp, it's your take it anywhere you want sort of a thing, and fits in your gig bag. And it sounds absolutely all right. You can get an output out of it if you're really serious about getting this sound into like a bigger system.
We actually done a video on this where we featured the Joyo dual clones and compared that with our Jambuddy. You can check that out for a little more detailed. But again, keeping with that same theme, that the price of the guitar and the price of the amp determines its quality. This is actually something that I would get because at home I live in a very confined space, and I need something like this for practice. When I'm jamming with my band, I have a full range of amplifiers I can choose from, in which case I would need my guitar to sound really good. So our final combo that we have is the Scuru S8 by Caline paired with the Sest 230 by Sqoe. Now what we've done in this case is gone opposite. We've gone with a slightly more expensive amp, and we've cut our budget on the guitar. So this is about 11 to 12,000 rupees for the amp, and the guitar is around 10,000, and after discounts it does come under our budget. The reason we went with this was just to test out the sound of an expensive amp compared to a slightly lesser expensive guitar. This is a 2-channel amp. It's got a metal chassis, which makes the sound very interesting, and it also has minimal controls. It's got some effects, it's got delay, and this is a battery powered amp, so it's got the portable aspect of it. It's got Bluetooth connectivity, so you can play backing tracks on it.
I think with it's a great sounding guitar. Obviously the 230 is a classic. The amp is sort of an interesting one because it falls under the category of like really tiny amps. If you really do increase the volume up on that, crank it, it can sort of become this perfect middle ground.
Yeah.
Where you can sort of play with your band at, you know, quietish volumes.
Yeah.
And make it quiet enough so that you can just practice by yourself. But it's loud enough that it has the punch. So I think if I had only one amp to pick from the whole lot, that's a great option, right?
Yeah, I actually love the sound of this amp for what it has to offer in terms of even the drive sound. It's something that I would love to just jam along. It's got this nice warm tone.
And despite of being that big and with a metal chassis and everything, it is still battery powered.
It is still battery powered.
So it'll still last you for some time, and it's a good sound. Along with delays, along with the EQ, 2 channels, everything. I think it's a great deal for what it has to offer within that.
Yeah. Again, we've done a detailed video about these amps. You can check that out. So finally, now we've done with all our combos. Finally. Time to pick a favorite. Let's start off with you.
Okay. We had a blast pretty much playing. There was no bad sounds as such. And it was too much shopping for today. We have 7 guitars and about 5 to 6 amplifiers. Okay. So I think my pick, if I just had 20,000 bucks, which is the scenario with a lot of young kids who come to the store. So my pick was the big Lirevo amp with the Celestian speaker, the whole classic overdrive with this guitar.
All right.
The single humbucker. I mean, I could have picked a guitar that's more expensive, but since we were on that 20k budget, so that's 10 to 12,000. This is 10,000. And with your kind discounts, we are right in the 20,000 markup. So this is good because it's loud. It's got it's got its punch with this sort of a setup. It's a straight up rock and roll
pretty much
thing. But then I mean, I don't have that many effects, and that's something that I'm willing to live with. How about you? You've been around all this equipment for so many years. Like you live in this dungeon.
Yes.
So what would you pick?
So when you mentioned about effects, I've actually gone in a different direction. But I've actually chose my amp as the Joyo Jambuddy. A whole bunch of amp modelers on this, effects, everything. Now unlike yours, this is a really tiny speaker. It's not going to project as much. But it gives me options of tiling in different sounds with different amp modelers. And that's something that I would want to do at home because there's ideas always flowing, and I really don't want to plug into a big amp. I'm going to wake everyone around up.
I like it. That's a good pick. Your neighbors are not going to hate you, unlike mine with that.
They will.
Yeah.
Do let us know in the comments what was your favorite pairing, if you would like to try different combinations, and also let us know if there are any other rigs that you would like us to talk about, anything else that you would like us to talk about, and we'll be happy to help. Till then, see you on the next one.